wild dogs have locked onto a vulnerable youngster under its mother's fierce protection. A hard target that could mean a feast or a fatal mistake. Will they dare to press the attack or break off and retreat? Under the chaos, the young hippo calf, confused and inexperienced with such danger, bolts in panic, not knowing that staying tight at its mother's side is its only real protection. As bodies scatter and everyone is running, the mother stumbles and falls. Its fall turns the chaos into opportunity. For the wild dogs, this stumble is a rare moment when fierce protection slips, and the odds shift in their favor. Now the hippo calf is alone, driven very far from its mother by blind panic and distance. Fear beats in its small chest. One of the dogs clamps onto the calf's tail as it runs. It isn't trying to kill it with that bite. It is dragging, steering, and slowing the youngster, turning its panic into a helpless flight that the rest of the pack can easily close in on. Its age may be tender, but the young hippo still presents a hard, powerful challenge for the dogs. Bruised and bitten, yet it endures. They seal every escape, tightening the trap around it. In this circle, there is no pity, only the hard, ancient law that the evil odds usually win. None of the dogs dare to attack its face, sensing the risk in those jaws. Even as a juvenile, it carries enough force to turn a reckless approach into disaster. The pack carves that lesson into its skin. Every move from the dogs carries hesitation, and the hippo makes it harder for them while it keeps turning to shield its back. As the young hippo calf remains on its forelegs, alive and trembling, while wild dogs bite and worry at its flanks, it twists and staggers, crying out in broken screams. A small body overwhelmed by pain and panic. It does not understand what is happening, or where safety has gone. It only knows that every new bite steals a little more strength and a little more hope from its fragile frame. The wild dogs cannot be satisfied. The taste of weakness only drives them harder. They wear down the young hippo's power, forcing it to the earth. Their confidence swelling as they strike again and again. Each bite more forceful than the last. The young calf trembles under the rising storm. Its breaths thin with fear. And with a final coordinated surge, the dogs keep it helplessly to the ground. Yet the guardian finally erupts into the chaos. A force so heavy the ground seems to shudder under its charge. Wild dogs rush in for a final bite. But the mother's explosive screams, deep, violent, and echoing with power, send them scattering in fear. Instead of remaining at the calf's side, the mother chooses revenge. One dog has paid the full price for the pack's reckless sin. Realizing it had made the mistake of leaving its young behind, the mother turns, driven by a surge of raw, protective wrath. Finding the dogs causing damage so severe that the calf is left helpless, its movement all but gone. One furious charge and a roar carved from grief sends the pack fleeing into the dust. Love is a force as violent as hunger. And nothing strikes harder than a parent reclaiming the fragile life danger tried to steal. As the calf lies down exhausted of the pain that was inflicted on its sensitive body and soul, the mother loudens its screams that travel through every ear of those that harmed its child. All that it wants is to keep the intruders away, protect its calf, and perhaps care for its wounds enough to save it. The pain grows fonder in its chest, a misery only motherhood feels to the bones. But the predators move along, leaving their injured member behind in the tragic field. The mother lies beside the fading calf, pressing close as its final breath trembles out, as if trying to hold its soul in place a moment longer against the pull of the dark. And as the daylight slowly dims, the calf's life fades with it. Across the far-reaching plains of Africa, wild dogs stand among the most efficient predators the continent has ever shaped. Not because of size or strength, but because of discipline, cohesion, and an extraordinary sense of purpose. Every hunt is a display of cooperation so refined it borders on instinctive choreography. As one organism stretched across the plains, trading positions, adjusting pace, reading cues invisible to any observer. Their vocal range is surprisingly wide. From soft, bird-like chirps that help keep the pack connected in tall grass to deep, resonant calls used to gather scattered members across vast distances. They greet each other with high-pitched excitement, tails wagging in a frenzy, bodies brushing and weaving together in a tangle of movement. This ritual strengthens social bonds and synchronizes the pack's mood before a hunt, transforming scattered energy into collective intent. No other African predator displays such open enthusiasm before setting out after prey. Communication binds them more tightly than any physical structure. Each sound carries meaning, encouragement, direction, urgency. This is a species whose survival depends on unity, and every member, dominant or subordinate, plays a role with precision. Even their social structure reflects this unity, for a pack's strength lies in cooperation, not hierarchy. Dominance exists, but it is gentle, guiding rather than oppressive. Care of the young is communal, and even the injured or elderly are fed by the group. A rare display of social generosity in the predator world. At the den, their nature softens. Puppies become the center of the pack's world, and adults return from hunts with bellies swollen with food, regurgitating meals for the young with gentle patience. Here, endurance gives way to tenderness, and the fierce hunters reveal their truest strength: devotion. For in a world ruled by competition, their greatest advantage remains unity. An unbreakable bond shaped by survival, carried by trust, and strengthened by every mile they run together. The young are born with a softer palate, their coats dark and muted, a charcoal brown that blurs into the shadowed earth. In adults, the palate reaches its full complexity. Black, white, and warm ochre blend in an intricate mosaic. Scattered across the body in broken patches that resemble torn clouds against a dawn sky. From their broad, heat-dissipating ears to the slender, shock-absorbing paws that strike the ground in rapid rhythm. Each part of the wild dog's body contributes to a greater whole, forming an athlete of astonishing efficiency. A creature whose entire form is engineered for unity, speed, and the relentless choreography of the hunt. And around them, the land holds many others shaped by the same unforgiving terrain. Creatures whose fates rise and fall with the same cycles of drought, abundance, and peril. To the untrained eye, the wild dog's movement may seem chaotic. In a world where survival depends on efficiency, wild dogs thrive not only through unity, but through a profound understanding of the terrain that sustains them.